Coming to you direct from Silencer Shop Studios, home of the Glass Case of Emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Hooah! Or oorah, depending on your vernacular. Welcome to a brand new era in the United States of America. We have suffered under 8 years of liberal fascist tyranny, and it's coming to an end very, very soon. Is your microphone off as you crunch that apple? Yes. Okay. As I make you answer a question with apple in your mouth, I know I'm a jerk. Welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. Welcome to the first week of the rest of your life. Congratulations. And if you know people that voted for Hillary Clinton or Gary Johnson or wrote in Alfred E. Newman or whatever, you can tell them to thanks for playing. Now go fornicate yourself. There you go. Oh, man. Today, brand new week. Last week was insane. Poor Zachary. This is the first year, the first opportunity that all three of my children have been able to vote in a presidential election, because both of my youngest two children were not of age during the previous presidential election. So this is the first time that, wow. Wow. Are you okay over there? And do you need me to get you some help or anything?
I've fallen and I can't get up.
All right. But anyway, my point is this. So all three of my children are adults, and they were all able to vote in the presidential election for the first time ever. And Zachary, bless his heart, he's a young one, the shipping ogre. He said to me, we went and we voted, and we continued throughout the rest of our day. And Zach said, he goes, I don't know, I might just want to go back to the way it was before I had to pay attention to all this. I said, welcome to the world of being an adult. He said, I've been having little mini panic attacks all day. And I think I told you guys, I don't know if I told you, but yeah, at 9:45 on Tuesday night, we just went to bed. I went to bed. I was not interested in watching the nonstop news coverage where they tell you what you already know for 3 hours. And they couldn't be honest. I talked to some people and they couldn't make themselves say that Trump was winning.
Yeah, I didn't even watch. He was never losing. The whole time that I watched it, he was ahead. But I was smart, and I'm sure that a lot of you were as well. And you watched, Yeager did a live stream on his YouTube channel. The whole, I don't know how he did it, but he powered through from 6 to 1 a.m.
That's crazy. We decided that you didn't need us to tell you what you knew, what you saw. And in complete and total candor and honesty, I really believe that the best thing you can do with these national elections is just go vote. And then go occupy yourself with something productive. It does you no good to glue yourself to a screen, because they're just going to tell you what they think you should hear. They're just going to keep regurgitating their opinions over and over again. When we know there is no disputing the fact that there's no objective media on television anymore. That just doesn't exist. MSNBC, CNN, ABC, NBC, all the networks, they're all in the tank for the ruling class Democrats. So why should I listen to them? I shouldn't. That's the point. And so we did something productive. We went to the range and we practiced and we trained. And, Alex was there and Zach was there. I was so proud of Zach. Zach was banging. He had Zach took his carbine. He's got a 30 carbine. He took that out to the range, and he was banging a steel silhouette at 200 yards, standing.
Yeah.
From the offhand, Zachary was banging that steel silhouette Do you need something? Do you need?
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's
over
going
here.
on with your intestines or your stomach or whatever over there. But
And he shot his own ammo that he purchased by himself.
yeah, I made him purchase it, and he's like, I
I remember
Zach,
those days.
I said, Zach, you need to buy some ammo, and he's like,
Now I just reach my hand in whatever can Dad brings to the range.
yeah, you didn't. And thank the Lord, I think we can all take a sigh of relief that we're not going to see the great ammo crisis and the great rifle crisis. Now, no, we're not out of the woods yet. There's still tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of thugs and parasites and crybabies that didn't get their way. They want their free cheese. They want the government to force you to accept their behavior, and they don't like it. They don't like the thought of losing that power over you. And let's face it, that's what it is. If you're a leftist, Democrat, fascist, socialist, your power comes from having the government force your neighbors to do what you want them to do. The government is going to force your neighbors to appreciate or endorse your behavior. And they don't like that. They don't like having to do things on their own. They don't like the chance that they could try and fail. They want the government to make everything okay. They want them to level the playing field so that everyone, well, unless you're a white conservative Christian person, then forget you. This victory was not about white conservative Christian men. It was about taxpayers. It was about the people who actually make the country work. The people that are actually out there working every day and raising families and taking care of their communities. These whiners and crybabies and sycophants and parasites that were all in the tank for the fascist liberals, they're not the productive people of America. They're not the ones that make this country work. The people who voted are the ones who have been punished and put under the oppressive boot heel of the federal government for the last 8 years. People in the coal industry, the steel industry, the automobile industry, the oil industry, you name it. People who have been abused and basically, I guess, they've been put out of business by administrative fiat, or they've allowed an agency to come in and shut them down. That's who voted. That's who installed Donald Trump as the president-elect of the United States of America. And that's why we were able to reject. And you soft-minded nitwits that thought it would be wouldn't it be historic to have a woman president? Never mind the fact that the woman president is one of the most corrupt, vile, evil human beings to ever walk the earth. That there are literally mountains of evidence pointing towards her corruption and her criminal behavior. You're willing to excuse all that so that you can have a president with a vagina. Wouldn't that be wonderful? No, it would not be wonderful. All right, it's Monday, and we are going to continue. We're not going to skip today. It is the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. And if your question is chosen and played on the air, then you will get a free bottle, a complimentary bottle of 9mm plus B, Stronger Bodies and Sharper Minds from SWAT Fuel. Jared, you want to go ahead? Are you ready to just to drum the winner in?
Yeah, I'm ready to do that.
All right.
Now, if you do hear your question on here, then you need to email Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com and give her your name, mailing address, your phone number, and your email so she can get that over to SWAT Fuel and get you taken care of.
My girlfriend and I's biggest issue is that we travel to the New York area a lot, as well as overseas. Therefore, we can't carry our firearms with us. Is there anything that you guys recommend to use in an EDC while traveling to places like this? Thanks, guys.
Okay. The obviously the first solution is don't go there. But let's just say that based on, for whatever reason, you have to go there. I have had to go to places, especially overseas, the Caribbean, to Europe, and so forth. And you're like, well, you go to Europe. I worked a lot as a private bodyguard. And believe it or not, despite what you've seen in the movies, you can't just take submachine guns and pistols and stuff everywhere. It requires special permission from the existing government and applications. And
now, before you get too far into this, you missed the beginning where it said it was Jeremy from Massillon. So I want to make sure that you guys knew that.
Okay, Jeremy from Massillon. Thank you, Jeremy. So minimum things. Now, people will say things like, oh, well, if you can't have a gun, take a taser and take pepper spray. No, actually, that's not going to work for you because if you do your research, what you'll find is that every major metropolitan area, every country, every state that prohibits you from having a gun on you, that makes it illegal for you to possess a firearm, well, they're not just going to let the slaves have other things. They're not just going to let the slaves have other forms of defense. No, you don't understand. The slaves have to be helpless so that they're forced to look to the benevolent state for their protection. So it's like, well, I'm going to New York, so I can't carry a gun. I'll carry my pepper spray and my taser. That's a great way to end up in jail. They don't want you to have anything. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take more benign forms of self-defense and protection. Number one, you should every traveling person, every person in your party should have a good, high-quality flashlight on them. I don't care what brand you choose, whether it's a Surefire or a Streamlight or, the fact of the matter is we don't talk about them very much anymore, but Keltec, their flashlights are badass. They really are good lights. They're thin, they're compact, they're super bright. They've got a clip on them. Now, the ones that you like hold and you do like the pistol grippy thing, I don't really care about those. Those are kind of a novelty to me. But the standard straight ones are fantastic. And there's no reason to be without one. Now, if you're going to be traveling and staying in hotels and what have you, something that is kind of old school, but you should be able to get away with is a mag light. I'm talking about, now don't try and bring one of the ones that's like is the length of a baseball bat. Don't think you're going to be able to take a 5D cell mag light with you to Europe or the Caribbean. They're not going to let that in there and be like, no, nice try, buddy. But a moderate sized mag light, like let's say a C or a D. Now, the D ones, you might think, they're a little more powerful or whatever. But the C lights, the C cell mag lights in either a 3 or a 4 battery version, I can vouch for it. I have taken those in and out of Europe, in and out of the Caribbean. And here's what they do. Customs will open them. They think you're going to hide dope or contraband inside them, right? So their biggest concern is they take the cap off and they dump the batteries out and they look inside them to make sure you haven't stuffed them full of dope or contraband or what have you. But when it comes to it being an actual light, they don't care. Because they're like, oh, that's a light, and turn it on. Now, if you were to try and put an 18-inch baton in your backpack or in your suitcase or whatever, they would like, no, you're not getting into the country with a stick that you can use to hurt people. You have to go down the street and get a stick to hurt people. You can't bring one into the country. But obviously, the mag light is a bright light that you can use to find your way out of a hotel that has no power or might be on fire or what have you. But you can also conk somebody in the noggin really good with one. So the mag light, like I said, like a 3 or 4 C or D cell mag light. A 4D cell mag light is kind of long, and they might say, we don't know about this. So like don't try and go crazy, but I mean, you got a aluminum tube that's full of batteries that is about 12 inches long, and you can get some serious attention out of that.
Just be prepared to give direction to people.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the light in your hand, you are in charge. As far as cutting tools and instruments, it just depends. Do not try and go to England with any kind of a lock blade. They will take that from you immediately because you are a vicious killer, and you should not be allowed to have that. I would always have some type of a sharp cutting instrument on me, even if it's a non-locking blade, even if it's a Swiss Army knife or what have you. It's better than nothing. You should have that. As far as armor is concerned, I've taken soft armor in and out of many foreign countries because one of the things I did when I was a bodyguard, I had a soft-sided leather briefcase with a shoulder strap. And in what would be, I guess you would say, the laptop pocket, I lined it with soft armor panels, with the level 3A panels. And you say, well, yeah, but that's defensive. It's not offensive. Yeah, I got that. But the fact of the matter is a soft-sided briefcase of that size, you can very easily cover your entire chest area with it, or you can cover somebody. You know, when I was a bodyguard, and if I was a close personal contact with the VIP and we had to get them out of there quick, fast, and in a hurry, you're not going to get your VIPs to wear armor. They're just not going to do it because they don't want to be uncomfortable. That's your job to stop bullets from getting in them. So you could take, you know, your average soft-sided briefcase and you could lay that or cover the vital areas of your protectee with that. That was one of the tricks that I used to do. Now, you may not be into the soft-sided briefcase, and you might think, oh, that's gauche, and that's not hip today, and it looks not nice, or it's not fashionable. The man pack, the various man packers that Jared has been trying out and we've been displaying for you guys, you can do that very thing with the man packs. If you're going to travel, you can put everything you need. Now, obviously, you should take a pocket lifesaver of some sort. And like I said, I've carried my pocket lifesaver all over into what we would call non-permissible areas. The only thing you might run into is customs. If you got a pocket lifesaver sealed up, they might be douches and want to cut it open and look at it. But nothing in there is a prohibited item. So you might just have to take your duct tape and reseal it after the douchebags at customs cut your stuff open and dig in it. Just don't take a Ziploc bag full of rubber bands. Don't do that.
Did you tell that story on the public hour? Or was
no, I told it when we did the one of the special videos. Remember, we did one of the special videos for the...
oh, yeah, it was for the 5 Strategies book.
Was it the 5 Strategies book? Yeah.
That's what it was.
I did, yeah, exactly. So,
boom, there we go.
Mm.
If you
watch that video, then you know.
Where can you get those? On the Facebook page, I know that, and I'm pretty sure on the YouTube channel too. So
there you go. All right.
There's a series of 3 videos, so you can look for that.
Well, do they still get that when they sign up?
No, that's before they sign up.
Oh, okay, before they sign up. All right. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you for your question, and I hope that helped you. And good luck. Good luck.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a free training video series called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. We want you to have access to this life-saving information. Get instant access now at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of those questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
And if you are not the SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week and you don't get a free bottle of 9mm plus B, you don't need to be sad. You can just go to SWATfuelstore.com and use the promo code SOTG2015. SOTG2015, and you will save yourself some money. Oh man, we got some big things going on here with our sponsor friends. Brownells is selling actual guns, real, legitimate, no kidding firearms. You can go to brownells.com and see what they've got in store for you. Frog Lube, you know what I did, Jared? When I took my 45 Colt 6 guns, my single action 45 Colt 6 guns to the range last Tuesday. and shot them, and I made sure that I frog lubed them. I frog lubed the base pins and the cylinders and so forth. And then when I got back, here's the thing, guys. Did you see the video? Did you share that with just PT Jared, or did you share it with the whole world about the smoke, the smoke producing?
No, that's
powder?
on the Student Gun Facebook page.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and it's also on my Instagram.
Yeah, I shot some. Did you do the black steel gun? Or
Yeah,
did you
black.
Do the stainless
Well,
one?
both
Yeah.
of them. I did both.
Okay. My point is this: if you're going to shoot guns that produce smoke, most of the time that ammunition is corrosive. Yes, indeedy do. And if you do not clean your guns, if you just shoot them, the smoke-producing powder, and then you put them up in the safe, you're going to regret it. You're going to come back and it's going to be orange, and that's a bad thing. So what I did, when we got back home from the range, I stripped the guns down, and I took the Frog Lube solvent, not the green Frog Lube, but the clear solvent, and the spray bottle, and I hosed those son of a guns down seriously to get all that corrosive solvent material off, or that corrosive material off them with the solvent. So, Durka, where can you get Frog Lube? We can get it at froglube.com, or you can get it at Brownells. Go crazy. I Frog Lubed up Hollywood, my AR-15 pistol project. You guys should have seen pictures of. And we took it to the range on Thursday, and we lit it up. Jared, was it? How was that experience shooting Hollywood?
It was
AR-15
very
pistol?
fun. It was fun.
It's more fun than a human being should be allowed to have. Yeah, it was. The only missing component on that gun right now is a red dot. I will admit that I'm a spoiled guy, and even though I can use iron sights, and I have, and I was able to I was having a little bit of difficulty because I had to adjust the sights, and I had to dial them in. But that's a great thing about having adjustable sights. But I was able to pop the silhouette target at 200 yards with the AR pistol. But I think I would rather have a red dot on it, so I think that's on my list of things to get. But I did Frog Lube it up really well, and we had zero malfunctions or problems or stoppages or anything like that. And I think part of the problem was I was shooting the variety pack of ammo. I shot everything from 50 grain, super fast 50 grain, 223, all the way up to the slower moving, harder hitting 77 grain stuff. Duracoat. Why? Well, and that's the next stop. The next stop on the Hollywood train is I'm going to be Duracoating that gun, and I wanted to get it out and heat it up and shoot it because once I put the Duracoat on there, I'm going to have to leave it be, and that's just the way it is. But if you got an ugly gun that you don't want to be ugly anymore, or if you have a plain gun, let's say you've got a gun that's just kind of not that exciting. Go to LauerWeaponry.com and pick yourself up some Duracoat, or you can go to Brownells.com and get some there. Crossbreed holsters. I am not wearing a crossbreed holster right now. Do you know why? Because I'm in my lounge pants. But fear not, I have a rifle. I can touch my rifle. I'm touching my rifle right now. Ooh, I'm touching it. So I am an armed citizen. I have a rifle within reach.
You know what I wear when I wear my lounge pants?
What's that?
I wear the holster from Jason.
The Jason holster.
Yeah. I don't know what he calls it. It's like the Ulti-Clip holster or
the
something.
thing.
Yeah. From before gear.
Yeah. But if you guys want to get the most comfortable inside of the waist, now when I leave today, when I leave and go out into the public, I will be wearing my Super Tuck Deluxe, because that's what you do. Century Arms, actually the rifle that is next to me right now, I got from Century Arms. It's the semi-automatic version of the VZ58. That's the VZ2008, which I don't think you can get anymore, but if you're me, you have one. Check out Century Arms at centuryarms.com. There you go. The sweetest smelling arms maker in the U.S. of A. All right, we took care of business. We talked about SWAT fuel. We talked about our new listener audio. We talked about all that stuff. It's time for me to put on my professor hat, and I'm going to tell you this. Traditionally, in the United States of America, going back to the 80s and even into George Bush's, the original,
George Clooney?
No, George Bush, the first George Bush presidency, and then the second George Bush presidency. What we do as conservative, Republican, traditional people is we win. Hooah! We win. And then we immediately turn around and apologize for winning. We win, and then the media and the losers, they take to the, we win. Republican Party wins. They're in the whether it's the Senate, the House, they win the presidency, and then the Democrats immediately run to the microphones and say, we understand the people have spoken, and we're looking forward to an era of bipartisanship. And I believe that what the people said with their election is that they no longer wanted partisan politics. I believe that the Republican victory indicates that America is ready to come together. And what? That is such a load of horse crap. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me, student of the gun audience. When you win, you don't have to apologize for winning. When you defeat your enemy, and that's what these people are, we're not talking about you're an American, I'm an American, both parties represent the Constitution of the United States, both parties represent the founding principles of the representative republic that is the United States of America. No, that is not what we have in modern America. In the United States of America, now we might have had that going like way back to the 1700s, and early 1800s. We might have had both Democrats and Republicans supported the Constitution, supported the founding principles, but just had a different way of going about them. No. What we have today is we have a liberal Democrat Socialist Party who views the Constitution as an impediment, as an obstacle to their power grab. They don't like the Constitution. They think that it's antiquated. They think that the Constitution hinders them and gets in their way. And that is exactly what the Constitution was designed to do. That is the beauty of our founding. The founders of the United States of America, they put together the Constitution as a guideline, or the law of the land, as a rule book, and they deliberately set it up to be a roadblock for fascists and liberals and monarchists and tyrants. When the Democrats complain that it's an antiquated document and it gets in our way and it's an impediment to us and it stops us from doing what we want to do, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. The Constitution was put in place to stop would-be tyrants. Now, here in the last 8 years, it hasn't really stopped them very much because we grew weak and apologetic and reasonable. And we allowed a half-black community organizer who was mentored in their political career by a convicted terrorist who sat in the church of a black Marxist, of a separatist, of a radical for 20 years. We allowed that man to screw us over, to stick his hand in the public coffers and spread money out to all of his cronies. We've allowed a half-black community organizer who was mentored and is friends with a convicted terrorist, and not a like a conservative convicted terrorist, but a Marxist. We've allowed that person to set up their own little mini dictatorship in the White House. We've allowed that person to rule via executive fiat. We've allowed that person to give his autonomous agencies, to send them out to make law via memorandum or administrative decision. We've allowed this Marxist community organizer to circumvent the rule of law, to circumvent the Constitution. We've allowed it to happen because we were afraid. We were cowards. Oh, he's half black. So, I mean, if we fight against him, if we tell him no, then the people at CNN will call us racists. And that's worse than than death. Here in America, it's a fate worse than death to be called a racist. So, well, we'll act like we're, but at the end, we'll act like we're fighting him. But at the end of the day, we just have to let him have what he wants. And we did it for 4 years, and then 4 more years. And finally, the people, the workers, the producers, the people that actually make this country work, stood up and said, no. No, 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 no. We're fed up with it. We're tired of it. We don't care who CNN thinks should be the president. We don't care who the New York Times has anointed to be the next president, or Newsweek or Time Magazine or whatever. We don't care. We're done listening to the parasites and the thugs that live in every major metropolitan area. We're not going to listen to the thugs, the parasites, and the bullies anymore. Did you notice that? How many times did CNN or MSNBC or any of these news media organizations or New York Times or whatever, how often did they call out the threats from the bullies? The bullies who said, you better do what we want or we'll burn the cities down. You better not elect Donald Trump, because if you do, we're gonna burn your cities down. The fascists in the Black Lives Matter movement and the new Black Panthers, yes, they are fascists. Look up the definition, they are. The bullies that tried to tell us, you better do what we want or we're going to throw a temper tantrum. We had distraction and confusion from these third-party candidates who claimed to be libertarian, who claimed to love freedom and individualism, but really didn't. We have a 100% in-the-tank, corrupt federal government. Think about it. Here we are in the year 2016, and in 8 years, the tyrant known as Comrade Barry Hussein has been able to completely corrupt the United States Department of Justice, from the ATF now to the FBI. They've been compromised and they've been corrupted, and they're now being used as political hacks and tools for the left. You used to look to the Department of Justice and the FBI and think they were here to protect you, the citizen of the United States. You thought that they were there as a bulwark, as a protection against organized crime and corruption in America. And what it turns out is instead what they are is aiders and abettors of corruption and crime in America, but only if the crimes are committed by people with capital D's behind their name. If the crime is committed by someone who has a capital D behind their name, then we're going to excuse it. We dealt with that last week. Ladies and gentlemen, despite all the odds that were stacked against us, consider that. The complete and total rigging and the corruption of the Democrat electoral process, of the nomination process.
And not only that, but being told for weeks, months prior to the election that it's not going to matter anyway, so why even do it?
That's right. Every mainstream news media outlet told you, don't even bother. Trump doesn't have a chance. We've already decided that this is what's going to happen. We've decided for you because you're too stupid to know what is best for you. The bullies, the thugs, the parasites who look at the federal government as their daddy, as their Santa Claus, as the one who's supposed to give them stuff. And where does that stuff come from? It comes from your paycheck. Look at your paycheck. Look at your pay stub. And take a moment to realize how much of your money is going to D.C. to be handed out to parasites and thugs that don't work. Or people who entered the country illegally and now want your money as a gift for them sneaking into the country. We had massive voter fraud that we know of. I mean, we're talking about a tip of an iceberg that we are aware of. Despite all of that, a miracle in modern political times happened. And a candidate who was not even endorsed or supported by his own party was elected president of the United States of America, not by the party establishment, not by New York Times or the insider media, not by the D.C. power structure, but by the working, productive people of the United States of America. That is who elected Donald Trump. And those who are throwing little hissy fits and temper tantrums, do not listen to them. They are not productive members of the United States of America. They are not productive members of your community. They are thugs. They are parasites. They are bullies. They are whiny little college crybabies looking for their safe space. The people that are upset and crying and whining over the election of Donald Trump, those are not the people that make America great. They're a coalition of professional victims. The United States of America was not founded, codified, and raised to be a nation of victims, but they think it was. They think that the federal government's job is to make sure that they maintain a comfortable victim status. And you and I believe and understand that it is not. The federal government is supposed to get out of your way. It's supposed to protect the borders and secure them so that you can go to work every day and safely, without threat, participate in your life, whatever that is. Whether you're a doctor, an attorney, a lawyer, a construction worker, I don't care. It's not their job to dictate to you how you're supposed to live your life on a day-to-day basis. You are a winner, and you have won. You do not need to apologize for winning. You do not need to be afraid that the enemy who you just defeated, we defeat enemies. You understand that, right? You do not need to go to your enemy and ask them permission to celebrate. You do not need your defeated enemy's permission to lead. We do not need the permission of the Democrat Party, of the rats in the Socialist Liberal Party of America. We do not need their permission. We do not need to cross the aisle in a spirit of bipartisanship. That is how we lose. Reagan, Bush the first, Bush the second, every one of those administrations, as soon as we took power, their first thing, and not Ronald Reagan himself, but we gave Reagan the presidency, but then they gave the Democrats the Senate, and they gave them the House, and so forth. Our enemy tells us, can we expect you to cross the aisle in a spirit of bipartisanship? No! No! We defeated you and your ideology. This was not about a man. This was about principle. This was about the founding principles of the United States of America: individual liberty and exceptionalism. The fact that America is supposed to be the shining light on a hill. We're supposed to be that city that people look to and think, I want to go there because that's a good place. Not, I want to go there because they'll give me free stuff. The victory of Donald Trump is a victory for American exceptionalism, for liberty. Do you think that when we won the World War II, that they gathered the Nazi party and the fascist Italian party, and they went to them? They went to Tokyo. MacArthur went to Tokyo. Did MacArthur go to Tokyo and say, okay, well, we won, but what we'd like to do now is ask you what you think we should do? No. MacArthur went to Japan and said, here's the deal. You started a war with us. That was your first mistake. We soundly defeated you. You have been defeated. Now, we're not going to torture you. We're not going to abuse you. But here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to ask your permission to be victorious. We're going to tell you what's going to happen now. We did the same thing in Europe. We said, you have been defeated. Unconditional surrender is all we will accept. Now that you've been defeated, we're going to tell you how it's going to be. You don't get to tell us, the winners, how it's going to be. And ladies and gentlemen, as you progress throughout your week, throughout your month, into January, into 2017, remember that. You are a winner, and you do not need to seek the permission of a loser to lead and to rule. Crossing the aisle bipartisanship is crap. Winners don't apologize for winning. Don't ever do it. And we will be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to talk about, let me see what's on the notes. Tuesday, Hollywood leftists. Get out and take California with you. We're going to go ahead and dive into that list of Hollywood elitists who all threatened to leave the country. And we're going to remind you who they are, and we are going to hold their feet to the fire. We'll help them pack their bags. All right, kids, remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life. Talk to you tomorrow.